Well, hello, everybody. I hope you are having a fantastic Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. And we are opening up a special episode of today's Reach Films podcast. And we're talking all about the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K and this crazy price reduction that Blackmagic is running. I guess there's no date range, it's a limited time offer. And I, full disclosure, went and bought one at midnight. It's funny, I was home yesterday. I just got home and I saw at around 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Blackmagic made this announcement on their Facebook page that they were doing a limited time offer for the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K for $1575. Now, for those of you who are like, is this a big deal? Well, normally the camera is around $2,600. It's like $25.95 or something like that. So it's $1,000 less. And so, yeah, it's kind of a big deal because Blackmagic has not done this kind of limited time sale in 10 years. The last time we saw that this kind of a deal was 10 years ago on the original Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera. And that deal, they did a 50% off sale. That was an $1,000 camera. They ran it for $500 and it sold out pretty much within the first day. And obviously, it's a little bit different. That was a camera that was on sale for $500. And this is a camera that's on sale for, let's just call it $1,600 for what it is. But it's still a really big deal because of what this camera offers. Now, if you're not new to the channel, you probably have seen tons of content on this, not only from me, but from other creators. But today I want to talk with you all about what this means, what this can potentially mean. Now it's funny because so I saw this whole article come up from Blackmagic on Facebook, and I immediately texted Josh Satin because we've both been looking at this micro studio camera G2s for each of our studios. And we just kept going back and forth as far as like picking one up, not picking one up, picking one up. And we ended up both not picking one up because when you go through the rabbit hole, it's like, well, once you build them up, you might as well get a Pocket 4K or 6. Anyways, without going through that rabbit hole, we were both ready to buy this, G2 camera. And then Blackmagic drops this bombshell announcement that they are doing the Cinema Camera 6K for $1,600. Now, the reason that's a big deal, it's really about the specs for the money. So for $1,600, you are now getting a full frame sensor that shoots a really, really good RAW codec, shoots 6K, doesn't really have, crazy frame rates. You're limited on the 6K end unless you drop down to like 4K to get any kind of slow motion. And then, of course, you're cropping in on the sensor and it's not full frame anymore. So at the normal retail price, it's kind of steep, especially because it's rolling shutter. The low light performance on that camera isn't as good as even the Pocket 6Ks with the Super 35 sensor. I think at the $2,600 price point, it was kind of a lot for that camera. And then, of course, the Pixis. How can we not talk about that? That camera was announced using the same sensor, all the same frame rates, and really some hardware differences on the body, like 2 CF Express Type B card slots, SDI out that offers 4K, where the HDMI out on the cinema camera is only 1080. Stuff that Josh and I were talking late last night about. So at $1,600 for what this camera is, that's why I picked one up immediately. That should have been the price of this camera, I think. Somewhere between the $1,600 mark to the $2,000 mark. I think Blackmagic would have made a statement by doing that, and it would have kind of been along the same vein of when they came out with the Pocket 4K in 2018. It just would have had a lot more oomph to the announcement. Now, I could see these selling off the shelves. I don't know how long this sale is going to be, because I'm assuming they're going to just sell out their inventory on whatever's available and probably restock. And I want to get what that means and what it was about, 10 years ago and what it could be about today. But I would say if you're interested in picking this camera up, I would probably do so today or within the next few days, because like I said, last time they did this deal, the camera sold out And then Blackmagic never did a deal like that on that camera ever again until they discontinued it. And as I said, they have not done a deal like this in 10 years. So if you've been thinking about the Cinema Camera 6K and have been wanting to pick one up, but you just couldn't justify the price, well, $1,000 off, that is on a camera that's only a few $1,000s as it is, that's a really big deal. It's 40% off. So anyways, I'm going to go over to the comments real quick, see what's going on. What's going on? Crazy that it is less than the G2 now. I know. It is it's pretty ridiculous that you can pick one of these up for the price, or I guess less, than the G2 or the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera Pro. This, other than it not, other than the rolling shutter being not that great on this 6K camera, it's pretty much what I thought the new camera was going to be. I did a video about it a year ago. I thought that this was going to be their answer to the Komodo. I didn't think it was going to be modular, which it wasn't, but it was kind of their answer to Komodo, except for their full-frame 6K, Komodo Super 35 6K. Blackmagic's a lot cheaper. Then, of course, it's got the L mount. The only mount that made sense, the only mount that makes sense for Blackmagic to use going forward. I don't see them licensing any other mount because there's no open source mount, pretty much other than Micro Four Thirds, and you're not going to get a full frame sensor in Micro Four Thirds. You can get a Super 35 sensor though. But thank you for stopping by. So 10 years ago, one of the rumors that was circulating on why Blackmagic did that sale was that they changed the screen manufacturer on the original Pocket Cinema camera. And this was a way for them to get rid of the existing inventory and kind of have the newer cameras with the newer sensors. So it kind of begs the question, what happened on Blackmagic's end to want them to do a sale like this? How were the sales of the camera? Because they just did the Pixis at NAB, and that's very similar to what the Cinema Camera 6K was. So how were these things selling? Was it an issue with maybe they weren't selling enough because of the price point? I don't know. I kind of almost don't think so, because they wouldn't be bringing the camera back to the price point it was. So did they change something in the manufacturing process and they're just trying to get all of the old versions of the camera out there? It's possible. I don't have any insider information, but looking at the past and the rumors that have come out of the past, it's possible. Maybe they changed something. Maybe it was a screen thing. Maybe it was a chip inside. Maybe there's just something where they want all the older versions of that camera, out there sold, and that's how they'll do the sale to kind of get them all off the market. I don't see them discontinuing this camera. I don't see a Generation 2 coming out anytime soon. This camera's not even a year old. It was announced in September of 2023. It didn't even start really shipping to anybody until October of 2023. So it's still a really new camera. So a lot of the people are like, oh, G2's coming out, this and that. No, it's something that they're not telling us. And it may even be, like I said, something that's not really a big deal, like a change in a screen manufacturer, a button, or some kind of CPU thing on the inside. I don't know. I don't know if Blackmagic will ever tell us, because they may not want to, or it may look weird. I don't know. But we're not going to know what it was. We just see what this sale is. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens after the sale. Also, how quickly this thing sells out. So, to give you an example, let's bring up the page. Let's go to bnh.com right now, because they're doing this via the official retailers. But that was the wrong B&H. BH. It's BH Photo. There we go. So we go here. We're going to go search up the Blackmagic Cinema camera. And it's funny because on my phone, it shows up with the deal. And on the computer, you actually have to click in and go to checkout to see the deal. So here we go. That's the Pocket. Okay, so the deal's showing up right now. So here's how it looks on B&H. Oh, no, that's the G2. That is not the full frame. Did they sell out already? No. Okay, here we go. So here you see it's $15.75. They show the discount, which is good. It's still available. Shipping next day delivery. I'm actually getting mine in tomorrow. They shipped it out this morning, and I ordered mine at like midnight. So interesting that they're doing next day delivery on a $1,600 camera. Maybe they just don't want to change kind of what they're doing at B&H. But I mean, I was able to get it quicker here than anywhere else at B&H. I do have links below. They're affiliated, so if you do buy any, I appreciate it. Definitely helps make videos like this on the channel. But yeah, they're still available on B&H, and I think B&H and Adorama, those two places are pretty much the first places you're going to see this thing sell out. And then once it's sold out here, there's some places on Amazon that are selling it. I put links in the description below in case for whatever reason you need to buy on Amazon. Maybe you have like a card or something there. I'm sure those will go after the B&H ones sell, just because they're all from third parties. Like, it's not Amazon selling them directly. It's places that are listing on Amazon selling it. But I mean, this is a pretty cool camera. One of the things that I bought off the bat once I purchased this was an EVF. I got the EVF as they've been out for a while. It uses the same EVF as the older cameras, the Pocket 6K Pro and the G2. So I scooped one up, like immediately used off of eBay, and I got a pretty cool deal before everyone got out there. So the one thing I would say is, if you're looking for deals on like accessories like the EVF and you're going to buy it, buy them today, because you're probably going to get a lot of people like me who kind of scooped up these deals as they could, as quickly as possible. Other than the EVF stuff to buy, one of the things I noticed is Angelbird. Angelbird is pretty much the best price on the CF Express Type B cards right now. I'll bring them up right here. The CF Express Type Bs are going for $130 on B&H right now. If you go to 1 terabyte, they're going for $200, which it's funny because it explains. A lot of my friends who picked up the Komodo X were telling me how the media is just way cheaper on Komodo X than Komodo, and that explains it right here. I mean, I bought a 512 card, I think it was like used, for the Komodo for like $300. You can get a 1 terabyte CF Express B for $200. So the media is definitely really affordable on this camera. Now, one of the things I plan on doing, I don't have them out here, so I can't show you. I plan on messing with the USB-C recording on this camera, and I never did that when I owned the Pocket cameras. But for this one specifically, I don't currently own any CF Express Type B cards. I'll probably buy this Angelbird. I'll either buy the 512 or the 1 terabyte. But I'm just waiting until I get the camera in, because I don't see these things disappearing as quickly as something like an EVF for the camera. So definitely take a look at the Angelbird ones. Best price, especially compared to everything else. It looks like it has the speeds, and I'll let you know more about it once I get the camera in. But yeah, this is kind of today's show. I didn't know if Josh was going to be able to make it on. I don't think he could. I actually forgot to send him the link, so that's my bad. But I think it's a very, very interesting sale. And like I said earlier, for those of you who are interested in it, I'd probably jump on this, because everyone I know who's even not interested in Blackmagic, they're all talking about this thing today. And it's a great sale. I mean, going back to we'll go over to the Blackmagic website real quick. I mean, look, let's click on this puppy. You're getting 6K. I think it's 36 frames per second. Oh, let's go to the specs tab. Yeah, so it's 6K up to 36 frames per second. Open gate. I mean, look, this isn't a camera for everybody. And so that's one thing that I think is different between this camera and the Pocket camera when they did that sale. For $500, I think a lot more people were willing to jump at it like quicker. One person told me on B&H on the $500 deal, they sold out in like 2 hours. Now, I don't remember it being 2 hours, but I remember it being like within 24 hours they sold out. But because this camera is limited on the frame rates, it's an L mount. Also, if you don't own any L mounts, like I don't, you're gonna have to at least go get like either L mount glass or the Sigma MC21 adapter, so you can use your EF glass. There's some things you got to do to get this camera working, and some things you got to buy. One of the things I went through my collection and I got rid of a lot of my old pocket stuff, like power stuff. D-tap to the power cord on the pocket camera. The power cord on the pocket camera to USB-C power delivery, so I can just power the camera off of power delivery stuff. There's a lot of cool power stuff that I kept over the years, because I always had this weird feeling I'd be going back to the pocket cameras, but I never thought I'd be going to, I guess, something that uses all the pocket stuff, which has been cool. But looking at the frame rates right here, the one thing that's pretty much why I'm probably going to make this my next studio camera, and that's where it's going to live other than being a B camera, is, the 6K is just limited to 36 frames per second and open gate. So when you step down from the open gate, it's really kind of like, what is it? The 17:9, it's really like, it's, I guess, slightly below 6K, but you can get up to 48 frames. It's a cool camera. It's just not going to be for everybody. Why did I buy it? Let's talk about that. So I bought this camera because I just got back into the red Komodo ecosystem. I just got a black Komodo. I actually purchased it from Josh, and I wanted to get into it for some of my higher end gigs. Most of the time when I shoot Komodo gigs, one of two things happen. It's either a solo camera gig where I just need one camera, or if it's a 2-camera situation, I'm typically renting, not renting, I'm typically hiring another camera op that has a Komodo. And so, they get to make a little bit of extra cheese because they get hired as a camera op, plus they bring their Komodo out. But there are situations that I could have done 2 cameras that I just didn't necessarily have the budget to bring up an additional camera op and a Komodo. And so that's where this camera, hopefully, I haven't tested it yet, but hopefully this camera can sit for me, because in addition to it being a studio camera, which I really only need 24 and 30p, one of the things I did with the Pocket 6K and even the Pocket 4K to an extent back in the day when I first got the Komodo in, and I was doing a lot of content on it for the channel, using it quite a bit. I was using the Pocket 6K as my B cam back in 2020 and 2021. Instead of using another Komodo. Now, they're not exactly the same, but both cameras shoot in RAW. The Pocket 6K has a great color science. This Cinema Camera 6K has that great color science too. Never really shot high ISO on it, which is, again, why I can go with this Cinema Camera 6K, because the high ISO, from what I've seen in Josh's test, really isn't that good. But to have a 6K camera that is full frame, and has B-RAW, which is a fantastic RAW codec, even if it's not the same as R3D, I could now do 2 camera shoots on a lower budget and hopefully make this my B camera. So I'm excited to bring it in and use it for that. Also on weddings are definitely gigs a lot that I've used the original Pocket cameras as like extra cameras that were unmanned. And so I'm hoping to put this to use as a B cam a lot, and then as an A cam in the studio. I just say hoping because I haven't had my hands on this camera. It's one of the few Blackmagic cameras I haven't touched. I actually had my hands on the Pixis at NAB before I even touched this cinema camera. But from Josh's experience using it, from what I've seen online, I have a pretty good idea of what it is and how I'll use it. So like I said, I'll be doing more content here on the channel about it. But I just wanted to talk today about this deal for those of you who didn't know that it's even going on. Again, I have links in the description below if you're interested in buying this camera. If you use them, it definitely helps, so I appreciate it. Thank you. But I'll be doing more content on it, especially as I use it. I'll be doing some tests with it against the Komodo, because I think a lot of you are probably still interested in that, just to see how it kind of fares. And then, of course, it's full frame against the Komodo, which is Super 35. So it's cool to have a full frame camera, which I've done, I've had the A7 IV for the past, not quite a year. I literally just got rid of it, but I liked having a full frame camera, but now I've got a cinema camera that shoots full frame at a budget level price. And I think a lot of you are going to be interested in that if you have the budget and if you're willing to try out L mount. Me personally, I'm not going to buy anything L mount. At least for not right now. I'm just going to be adapting everything via EF or just adapting in general until I figure out kind of where this camera sits in my ecosystem. But if you have any questions, anything you want me to test or see, I do get this camera in tomorrow, and I'm pretty much going to be putting it to test off the bat. So let me know in the comments below, especially if you're watching this video later on. Any questions you have, I'll be putting them out. I do want to thank all of you who joined me live today. Really appreciate it. I know this is kind of out of nowhere. But yeah, until next time, I got some cool videos coming out later this week. Make sure to check the channel. And the price change was enough to make me jump on it. I've been holding off, wondering about if I should just do the Pixis, but for this price point, I could not get it. Yeah, I'm with you. For this price point, I would totally pick this up over a Pixis, hands down. Especially, I know I was about to wrap up, but I'll give you this bit. After getting my hands on the Pixis, what I've realized is that's kind of the lowest now Blackmagic Pro level camera, because you've got 2 CFB card slots, you've got SDI out that does 4K, and you've got a little bit of a more modular design. So for pro level stuff, that camera's going to be pretty cool. But for single operator or not doing higher end gigs, this cinema camera at this price point of around $1,600, killer. At the price point of around $2,600, I don't know. I'd probably buy the Pixis over the cinema camera. So it'll be interesting to see how the pricing long-term fares with this camera. I just don't know. I think we're all kind of going to be in the same boat there, seeing how this rides out and how fast the sale kind of happens, because it'll also show what kind of demand was there if, by the end of today, you can't pick them up anymore. But we'll see. But anyways, as I was bleeding out, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. And until next time, my name is Jeff Fagan. I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.